Now it's time to show off what's under the hood with Halion Sonic SE. Let's start with the edit mode. From any one of these modes, you can select a preset for any given slot. The controls under voice and pitch are pretty standard with a few exceptions. First, you can control the octave of the selected slot. You can alter the pitch in semitones here. If you need finer adjustments, use this last knob. Now this is the cool part. Halion Sonic SE has a pitch bend range of up to 48 semitones down and 24 semitones up. That's crazy. This is an abnormally high range for a synth. If we turn the mono mode off, we can set the maximum amount of notes the synth can play at one time. Right now I can play a full chord, but if I switch it to mono mode, I can do some pretty cool things. If I hold down one note at the bottom and hit another note above it, it cancels out the lower note. When I let go of the top note, the bottom one jumps back up to fill its place. Watch my keys at the bottom of the screen to see how little I'm actually playing to make this sound. We don't need to cover basic filter and envelope controls, so let's move on to the MIDI section. The instrument I'm playing is on channel 1. Let's set the next slot to channel 1 as well and pick another sound. Now when I play, both sounds are played at the same time. This sounds crazy. I can transpose either slot to better suit the sound placement on the keyboard. This will make more sense in a second. What if I wanted both of these instruments on the same keyboard at the same time? There are two different ways to do this. The first is to set up key zones for the sound. Grab any end of the keyboard in each zone and drag left or right to adjust the range at which the notes will sound. Set this first slot for the bottom range of the keyboard and the second for the top. You can clearly see on the keyboard below what notes I'm playing and in what zone my keys are. Let's undo this and show you the second way of splitting up sounds. Switch to velocity mode and drag the ends of the blue regions just the way we did with the keyboard to set at which velocity the two sounds will disappear and reappear. I like leaving a little overlapping area for effect. When I play lightly, only slot 2 will sound. If I play harder, only slot 1 will sound. In the middle range, they both sound. You can easily reverse the layer if you want. It sounded better the other way, I think. Either way, once a layer has been sized, you can freely move it up and down the scale. Let's undo all of this for now. The last section under MIDI is the controller section, where we can choose to ignore certain MIDI messages for certain slots. Just click on a parameter to filter it out. Let's briefly talk about the mix section before moving on to the next chapter. We can turn off and on different channels in the mixer with this button. And again, we have the individual volume level for the mixer channel and the channel panner. No surprise there, but what about these 4 effect sends here? Right now, if we turn them up, all we get is a louder signal, but we'll change that in the next chapter. We could have chosen an individual output for the selected slot if we'd set up our instrument in the VST instrument panel. But again, we will discuss that in the last chapter of this level. Let's figure out what these effect sends can do in the next chapter.